There's something wrong with the mirrors in this place. Not like they're cracked or smeared. No, they're clean. Too clean. High-gloss obsidian that stretches from the bar to the vaulted ceiling, catching reflections in ways that don't quite match. Blink, and you might see someone still smiling after they've already turned away. Blink again, and it's you who looks like the stranger. But that's Inferno for you. Glamorous, exclusive, and unsettling as hell. I wipe down the bar for the 5th time tonight. Not because it's dirty, God forbid, but because it gives me something to do with my hands. Anything to avoid looking too long at the man sitting alone in the back booth. Again. He's been here every night this week. Same table. Same drink. Untouched. Same posture. One leg crossed over the other. Hands clasped on the table. Head tilted just slightly. Like he's posing for a portrait only he can see. He never orders. Never flirts. Never blinks. But he watches. God, does he watch? Ezra, comes a voice behind me. Renee, one of the servers, swaying past with a tray of sapphire-colored cocktails. He's staring at you again. I don't bother looking. He stares at everyone. Not like that, she mutters, then vanishes into the velvet sea of VIPs. Tonight's crowd is a kaleidoscope of decadence. A silver-haired billionaire whispering into the ear of a drag queen draped in gold chains. A woman in a red, latex mask sipping something smoky, her eyes slitted like a reptile's. 3 Wall Street types laughing too loud over drinks that cost more than my rent. And yet, I feel it. That pinpoint heat on the back of my neck. That familiar low hum under my skin. He's watching. I glance up. His gaze meets mine like it knew it would. A slow, deliberate smile pulls at the corner of his mouth. Not kind. Not cruel. Something else. Something that says, I've seen you before. I look away. I shouldn't care. People look all the time. But this one, he sees. Minutes pass. Maybe more. My hands go through the motions. Pour, serve, smile, repeat. Then a voice slides across the bar like silk dipped in smoke. You're just a human. I freeze. He's standing right in front of me, close enough that I can smell something warm and dark on his skin, like sandalwood and ash, and something sweet, too, almost like burnt sugar. He's taller than I thought. Platinum blonde hair that falls just past his jaw, sharp cheekbones, black suit cut to precision. Every line of him speaks elegance and danger, like a blade displayed under glass. But it's his eyes that pin me. Amber, not honey, not gold, amber, like something ancient trapped behind glass, and glowing, faintly, like the last ember of a fire. You're just a human, he repeats, tilting his head. A pretty little flicker. I'm too stunned to speak at first. My mouth moves before my brain catches up. Then why are you the one burning when I touch you? It comes out sharper than I expect. Defensive. Too honest. A pause. His smile deepens, just barely. I don't burn, he says quietly. I remember. I don't know what the hell that means. And I really don't want to ask. So I laugh. Bitter, flippant, safe. You always this cryptic? Or am I special? You are, he says. No hesitation. I falter. For one horrible second, I forget how to breathe. Right, I mutter, grabbing a glass to polish. Well, if you're trying to flirt, you might want to work on your delivery. Flirting isn't the objective, he murmurs, eyes lingering on my hands. Observation is... Yeah? And what exactly are you observing? Another pause. He doesn't blink. Decay. I actually snort. Charming. He turns, finally, graceful as water, and begins to walk away. But then he stops. Just before the mirrored wall, his reflection hangs back half a step behind him, lagging, not matching. Ezra, he says without turning. I stiffen. How do you know my name? His voice is almost kind this time. It's stitched into your flame. He walks off, and I swear, just for a second, the lights in the club flicker. They don't write the rules down here. There's no employee manual, no guidebook, just whispers, looks, and the heavy hanging knowledge that if you break the wrong rule, You don't get written up. You disappear. When I first started at Inferno, I thought that was just dramatic club lore. An attempt at mystique. A marketing trick wrapped in candle smoke and expensive perfume. Then I saw the bartender before me vanish mid-shift. Not quit. Not fired. Vanish. His name was Devon. He made killer Negronis. And one night, he asked the wrong guest the wrong question. The next morning, his locker was empty. Like he'd never existed. Like he was a ripple that smoothed itself out. So yeah, no one talks about the rules. We just feel them. And one of the biggest? Don't talk about the marks. I learned that early too. On a slow Tuesday, some hedge fund guy noticed a girl at the bar with a shimmering pattern under her collarbone. Like gold leaf pressed into her skin. He reached out to touch it. She didn't flinch. She just looked at him, tilted her head, and said, "That's not yours." He laughed. She didn't. The next night, he came back alone. Different. Slower. His smile delayed by a second. His laugh hollow. Like someone had taken out the core and left the shell. We don't talk about the marks. We don't touch the guests. And we never, ever, ask who Thomas is. Laura's office smells like lavender and spreadsheets. She's the manager, technically. Mid-40s, ice blonde, sharp suits that never wrinkle. Her smile is tight and polished, like everything else about her. But sometimes when Thomas walks by her desk, when he lingers too long, she grips her pen so tightly her knuckles go white. She never says a word. "Ezra," she says now, glancing over the top of her laptop. "You had a guest compliment your service last night." "Oh?" I lean on the doorway. "Which guest?" She hesitates. A pause, barely noticeable. But it's there. "You know which." I lift an eyebrow. "You mean, Thomas?" She flinches. Just a flicker. A muscle in her jaw. "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." Laura closes her laptop slowly, deliberately. "Whatever that man says to you, don't take it personally." I blink. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," she says, standing up, smoothing down her blazer, "that fire has many shapes. And some of them look like admiration." I stare at her. "You sound like a fortune cookie. And you sound like someone who still thinks he's in control." She brushes past me, her perfume trailing behind like a warning. It starts happening more often. Thomas appears when I'm fraying at the edges. When a guest grabs my wrist too hard. When I drop a glass and feel shame crawling up my spine. When someone calls me boy like I'm furniture. I turn, and there he is. At the bar. In the corner. Watching. Always watching. And it's not a comforting kind of attention. It's a pressure. Like gravity made personal. Like something in him is responding to what I feel. I try not to read into it. I try not to think about how his eyes glow faintly in the dark, or how sometimes the room seems colder when he walks away. I try not to remember how his voice curls around my name, like smoke around a match. Then, one night, I'm cleaning up after close. Just me, a mop, and Billie Holiday playing low on the sound system. And Thomas walks in. No preamble. No warning. He's in black again. Always black. Like morning or shadows, or the inside of something sacred and terrifying. I don't jump. I don't speak. I just watch him approach the bar. He rests his fingers on the polished mahogany and drags them slowly across the surface. When he lifts his hand, there's a trail behind, a faint ash-gray streak, like something scorched had brushed past. I stare. "What are you really doing here?" I ask before I can stop myself. The words feel heavy, like they cost something to speak. Thomas tilts his head. "Watching the inevitable?" I scoff. "That sounds creepy." A smile ghosts across his lips, half amusement, half hunger. And yet he murmurs, "You keep talking to me." I swallow. He's close again. Closer than anyone ever gets. And I realize something. No matter how much I try to joke or deflect or pretend I'm not rattled, he sees through it. I feel it in the way he stands, still and certain, like the world moves around him. I feel it in the heat that pulses low in my gut when he speaks. "You scare people," I say quietly. "I don't try to." "Then why does Laura act like you're a landmine?" His smile fades. Not completely, just enough to make the air change. Because people like Laura want order, he says softly. And I bring the opposite. I meet his eyes. And for a second, I don't see a man. I see something older, sharper, a crack in the world shaped like a person. You're not a guest, I say slowly. No. You don't pay? No. Are you part of the staff? A pause. Then, in a way, that's not an answer. But it's also not an answer. I lean forward, mouth dry. What are you? Thomas's gaze flickers, just for a breath. The way a candle does before the flame jumps. He leans in. So close I feel the heat of him. The scent, burnt sugar and storm clouds and something raw. I'm what's left, he whispers. Then he turns, walks away. And the ash he left on the bar, it's gone. Like it burned through the wood and vanished. Like it was never there at all. The thing about secrets is, you only get to choose to keep them once. After that, they belong to everyone who decides to use them. I don't know how Jared got his hands on my file. Maybe it was just lying around. Or maybe Laura trusts him more than she should. Maybe it was my fault for thinking a shared apartment meant something like friendship. Either way, tonight, someone decided to cash me in. I'm behind the bar like usual, stacking clean glasses, when I hear the laughter. Too loud, too sharp. It comes from the VIP lounge. 4 men in charcoal suits and thin ties, every one of them with a drink that costs more than my week's salary. One of them gestures toward me with his glass, smirking. That one, he says to the others, used to boost phones on the red line. Got caught with a whole bag of them. Right, Ezra? The name lands like a slap. I freeze. I don't look up, but I feel every eye in the room shift toward me. The smirk widens. What's the matter? Didn't expect your resume to come up during cocktail hour? Behind him, Jared avoids my eyes. Of course he does. I want to say something, want to scream, flip a table, break every bottle in arm's reach. But I just stand there, jaw clenched, fingers white-knuckling a whiskey tumbler. The silence stretches until it chokes. Guess even a place like this has its charity hires, the man finishes, laughing, raising his glass in mock salute. And I walk, not toward him, not toward Jared, out the side door, into the alley behind Inferno, out where the air tastes like garbage and smoke, where the walls sweat oil, where no one can see me come apart. I lean against the cold brick and close my eyes, my chest tight with fury and shame and heat that has nowhere to go. The door creaks open behind me. I don't need to turn. Of course it's him. Don't, I snap, without looking. Thomas steps closer anyway. Go back inside, I grind out. Go do whatever it is you do. Watch, observe, be cryptic and terrifying and leave me the hell alone. Still, he doesn't move. Why are you even following me? I demand, spinning toward him. You want a show? Is that it? I pick up a nearby glass ashtray and hurl it at him, hard. He catches it, doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink, just catches it with one hand, gently, like I tossed him a flower. My rage boils over. You think I'm pathetic? I shout. Is that it? Some stupid broken toy to poke when you're bored? Silence. Then Thomas steps forward. Slowly, deliberately. His eyes are darker than usual, the amber gone to storm cloud. No, he says, voice low and steady. You feel. Most people don't. That makes you dangerous. To us both, I falter. His words hit harder than the insult, harder than the humiliation, because I know he's right. I've spent my whole life surviving on instinct and emotion. I feel everything. Too much, too loud, too deep. And most people hate that. Want to numb it, mute it, bury it. But not Thomas. He steps even closer, now only inches away. And then, he reaches out. One hand, slow and careful, brushing against the side of my neck. The second his skin touches mine, everything ignites. Heat explodes under my skin. Not pain, but something hotter, brighter, deeper. Like my blood has been replaced with molten light. Like my nerves remember something I never knew. I gasp. The air fractures around us, shimmering like glass under stress. And then I feel it. A sharp prick at my collarbone. Burning. Not surface pain. Soul, deep. I stagger back, panting, clutching my chest. Thomas doesn't move. His gaze locked on me. I tear open the collar of my shirt, fingers trembling, and see it. A mark, curved and intricate, like a sigil etched in silver fire, glowing softly under my skin, just above my heart. What is this? I breathe. Thomas's eyes never leave mine. You've been touched, he says. By what? He doesn't answer, just watches as the mark pulses once, then fades to a faint shimmer, still there, but hidden now beneath the skin. My head spins. This isn't normal, I whisper. No, Thomas agrees. It's not. I want to scream again, want to punch him, cry, run, but I don't move. Neither does he. We just stand there, two shadows in the alley behind a club that shouldn't exist, breathing the same smoky air, tethered now by something I can't explain and don't understand. He should feel like a monster, but all I feel is seen. I wake up burning, not fever hot, not sick hot. Glowing. My chest pulses like there's a small star beneath my skin, beating in time with something that isn't quite a heartbeat. I stumble into the bathroom and peel off my shirt. There it is. Still, a mark, curled like a crescent, jagged at the edges like lightning, and glowing faintly silver in the mirror. Not ink, not a bruise. Something deeper, etched into me. When I touch it, the air hums, and worse, when I think of him, it glows brighter. I nearly punch the sink. At work, I try to hide it under layers. Black t-shirt, black button-down, high collar. But it itches, like my skin remembers his hand. I walk into Inferno, and the air shifts around me. Just slightly. The lights dim as I pass. The mirrors hold on to my reflection a second too long. Everyone notices. No one says a thing. Until I pass Laura's desk. She glances up from her laptop. Her eyes drop to my chest, narrow, then flick back to my face. She closes her laptop slowly. Ezra, she says, voice flat. Step into my office. I follow her in, spine stiff, skin prickling. The door closes with a whisper. Laura leans against the edge of her desk, arms crossed. Show me. I don't pretend I don't know what she means. I unbutton the top of my shirt. She sees it. Her breath catches, just once, and she steps back. Hell, she whispers, and for the first time, I think she means that literally. I cover it quickly. What is it? I ask. You really don't know? Would I be asking if I did? Laura runs a hand through her perfect hair. It's the most human thing I've seen her do. Demons don't mark people for fun, Ezra. That's not flirting. That's not a game. I didn't ask for it. Doesn't matter. Now it's yours. And what, exactly, is it? A tether, she says finally. A link. A claim. He's tied to you now. And you're tied to him. The room feels smaller. My skin, tighter. This place, I say. What the hell is it? She meets my eyes. And this time, there's no polish in her voice. Just don't run. He avoids me. Of course he does. For 3 nights, I work the floor, and Thomas is nowhere. Or maybe he's everywhere. I can't tell. The mark pulses when I move through the lounge. When I pass the back corridor, when I look into the mirrors and see something out of sync, I'm losing it. I need answers. And then, on night 4, I find the door. It's in the east hallway, past the staff lockers, behind a blackout curtain I've never seen before. No handle, just wood, warm under my palm. I push. It opens. The air inside is thicker. Still, like the room hasn't breathed in decades. The walls are lined with symbols I can't read. The floor is stone, dark and cracked. In the center, a blackened circle. Candles burned to stubs. A rusted bowl filled with gray ash. Scraps of parchment charred around the edges. And him, standing with his back to me, silhouetted in the flicker of candles that shouldn't be lit. Thomas, He doesn't turn. You've been avoiding me. Silence. You left a mark on me, I snap. The least you can do is explain what the hell you've done. He turns slowly. He looks different. Not less elegant. Just less composed. His suit is wrinkled. His eyes, usually clear amber, are clouded, like smoke trapped behind glass. You shouldn't be here, he says softly. Yeah, well, that makes two of us. A flicker of something in his expression. You're angry. Of course I'm angry. You touched me, and now my skin glows. You tied something to me I don't understand, in a place where no one talks and no one feels. I feel, he interrupts. I stop. What? He steps closer. I feel. Around you. Because of you. I stare at him. You're not making sense. I was made to feed on desire, he says quietly. To echo it. Reflect it. Shape it. He gestures to the ash, the papers, the sigils on the walls. This place is a cage, a beautiful one, yes, but a prison. Every contract signed here ties me tighter. Every fulfilled wish burns a little more of me away. His voice lowers. But then you walked in, and you didn't want anything I could give. You felt without asking. You burned without fuel. I shake my head. So what? I'm just a new toy? One that glows in the dark? No, he says, and suddenly he's inches away. He reaches out, not to touch me, but to let his fingers hover over the mark. You're not a toy, he says. You're a match. He meets my eyes. One spark from you. And I remember I have a soul. You don't realize how many pieces of yourself you've left behind until someone sells them back to you. His name is Sam. We used to split fries behind gas stations, laughed over bruised knuckles and unpaid rent. There was a time I trusted him like a brother. Hell, more than that. Like he was the last safe corner of the world. So when I saw him again, standing in the red haze of Inferno's entrance, grinning like we hadn't both survived hell, I let him in. He hugged me like it mattered. He said he missed me. He said he didn't want anything. He lied. It started small. A shift in the air. A slowness in the mirrors. Clients watching me a little too closely. One or two of them asking questions they shouldn't know to ask. Then, in the middle of my shift, I walked past a room I'd never seen open before. The contract vault. It shouldn't have been open, but the door stood ajar, pulsing with a dull red glow, and inside I saw him, Sam, standing in the center of the room, holding something, a memory, my memory. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't a photo or a recording. It was a shape, a weight, a shimmer in the air. It was me, age 9, sitting under the counter at my aunt's diner, bruised and quiet, holding a keychain I'd stolen from a lost and found, just to feel like I had something that belonged to me. It was a piece of my soul, and he was selling it. To them. To Inferno. To the thing that kept Thomas chained here, burning wish after wish into ash. I ran. Not away. Toward the vault. Toward him. Sam! I shouted. He flinched, like he'd been caught stealing candy. Wait, I can explain. You sold me. It's just a fragment, he stammered. They said you wouldn't feel it. They said it wouldn't hurt. You think that makes it better? He opened his mouth. He never got to finish. Because Thomas arrived. It wasn't a walk. It was a rupture. One moment the air was heavy. The next, it split. Thomas stepped into the vault like fire spilling through a crack in the world. The candles died. The walls pulsed. The shadows recoiled. And Thomas, he was not calm. His eyes were golden, black and wild. He looked at Sam, not like a person, like a threat. You took from him, Thomas said, voice like thunder under silk. Sam tried to speak. His mouth worked, but nothing came out. Thomas raised his hand. The contract room screamed. Pages tore from shelves. Candles exploded. The sigils on the floor flared to life, lines of white-hot light searing across the stone. Sam dropped to his knees, clutching his head. Thomas, I shouted, stumbling into the chaos. He didn't hear me. Or he did. and didn't care. He stepped forward. Power radiated off him in waves, warping the very air. I felt it in my ribs, in my bones, in the mark on my chest that burned with his fury. Sam was going to die. I knew it. He did too. And for a moment, I almost let it happen. Then I saw Thomas's face. Not rage. Hurt. And that was worse. "Stop," I said louder this time. He didn't. I moved between them. "Thomas." "Nothing. If you want to be like them," I said, shaking, "go ahead. Burn everything. Prove you're the monster they think you are." His hand trembled. "But then don't pretend I ever meant anything to you." Silence. The light faltered. The fire receded. The vault dimmed. The sigils fading into ash. Thomas looked at me, and I saw it break. Not just the magic. Him. He turned, and vanished. Afterward, the room fell cold. Sam was still curled on the ground, panting like he'd drowned in fire. I didn't speak to him, didn't help him up. I just walked out. And I didn't cry until I made it to the alley. Inferno dims without him. The guests still come, at first. The music still plays. The drinks still pour. But the air has changed. It's thinner now. Cooler. Less electric. Like someone turned the heat down just enough to make your skin crawl. People notice. They don't say it, but I see it in their eyes as they leave early. I see it in the servers whispering backstage. I feel it in the mirrors, which no longer linger on my reflection. Even the mark on my chest is quiet. For the first time since that night in the alley, I feel alone again. Truly. Sickeningly alone. I spend the next few nights cleaning more than serving. Inventory, storage, glassware, anything to keep moving. And then I find it. A door at the back of the cellar, half hidden behind crates. Not locked, just overlooked. Or maybe not meant for me until now. It opens with a groan like old bones. Inside, dust hangs like a veil. Shelves of thick tomes line the walls, each one bound in leather that looks too much like skin. And in the center, a pedestal. Upon it, a single book. Small, black, stained. The front cover bears a sigil I recognize, because it matches the one that once burned under my skin. I open it. The pages crackle like dried leaves. Each contract is written in looping inhuman script, but I understand it anyway. Not with my eyes, with something else. The words speak themselves into my mind. Promises, prices, and there, between two pages scarred by heat, is his, Thomas, bound centuries ago to Inferno, not as a master, but as a servant, a demon of pleasures, tethered to the club's soul, fed by the desires of others, trapped in a cycle of giving and burning. And written at the bottom of the page, in smaller blood-red ink, should the demon choose to sever his binding, to relinquish all ties to power to pleasure, he shall become mortal, fallible, finite, free. I close the book with shaking hands. That night, I don't go home. I sit on the bar stool where Thomas used to watch me. I wait, and when the last of the staff leaves, he comes. I feel him before I see him, heat bleeding into the air like a warning. He steps through the door without a sound. His suit is torn at the cuff. His hands are blistered. Ash streaks his jaw. He looks tired. Not in the way people do, in the way monuments crumble. I don't speak. I just slide the book across the counter. He looks down at it. Then at me. Then opens it. His fingers hesitate on the page bearing his name. I saw it, I say softly. What you are. What you're bound to. Silence. I saw what it takes to end it. He doesn't flinch, doesn't breathe, but he turns the page, then tears it out. The parchment doesn't rip like paper. It screams. A howl of magic and memory and pain. The lights flicker. The ground trembles. The air smells of fire and salt and thunder. Thomas reaches into his jacket, pulls out a black matchbook, strikes one, and drops it. The contract bursts into flame. It burns white, not red, bright enough to blind, hot enough to melt steel. But he doesn't look away. He watches it burn. When it's over, nothing remains. No ash, no page, just silence. And him, shaking, breathing, alive. "You ruined me," he says. His voice is ragged, more human than I've ever heard it. I swallow, heart hammering. Then I smile, a little crooked, a little sad. "Took you long enough." 6 weeks later, Inferno is still Inferno, but now, it breathes. The walls don't hum with pressure anymore. They thrum like a jazz bass line. The air no longer smothers, it glows, soft and warm, like candlelight against skin. Gone are the sharp whispers, the old rules, the aching hush of deals struck in shadows. Now, there are new rules. Ezra written rules, scribbled first on the back of a cocktail napkin at 3 a.m., refined during staff meetings full of espresso and sarcasm. No contracts, no obligations, just desires. People don't come here to bargain anymore. They come to remember what they want. I stand behind the new bar, sleek walnut, open shelving, no reflective glass, and watch the lounge fill with movement. Dancers swirl under golden lights. A violinist plays on the balcony. Laughter spills like champagne across the marble. And in the corner, sipping something suspiciously green from a martini glass, is Thomas. He wears dark jeans and a shirt that almost fits like he meant it to. His hair is tied back. There's ash at the collar like he burned toast this morning. He looks alive. "Ezra," he calls, lazily twirling the glass. "Is this grass?" "It's a matcha mojito," I shout over the music. "You said you wanted something refreshing but existential." He squints. "It tastes like melancholy and lawn clippings." I grin. "You're welcome." Thomas pouts in the most theatrical way possible, then swirls the straw and drinks anyway. We're still figuring him out. Apparently, immortality didn't come with a user manual for feelings. Last week, he cried during a cat food commercial. The week before that, he watched 3 entire rom-coms in one sitting, and then asked me if grand gestures were mandatory in mortal courting rituals. He brings me flowers now, often by accident. Yesterday it was a fistful of lavender stolen from a rooftop garden. Today, a pack of gum and a crumpled note that just said, "For when you lie too well and need minty penance." It's annoying. It's adorable. It's mine. "Ezra," shouts Renee, now promoted to head of guest experience and occasional chaos wrangler. "The barista demon is trying to unionize again. Tell him he can have dental this time," I call back. "But not vision. He has 12 eyes. It's cheating." She salutes. "Copy that." Thomas raises an eyebrow. "You realize you're running an actual circle of hell now?" "Yeah," I say. "But we upgraded the lighting." In the back lounge, someone plays Billie Holiday. The familiar tune slides over me like silk. Thomas appears at my side. Not walks, appears, because he's still dramatic, even without the infernal spark. "You're working too much," he murmurs. "I'm literally leaning on a bar and drinking club soda." "Exactly." He nudges me gently with his shoulder. I nudge back. "You ever think," I ask quietly, "about how close we came to not having this?" Thomas is silent for a moment. Then, "Every day." I glance at him. He's not smiling. His hand brushes mine on the counter. No sparks, just warmth. Later we sit on the rooftop, legs hanging over the edge. The city below blinks and breathes, alive with neon and midnight laughter. "I forgot what it was like," Thomas says, voice soft. "To just be, to get it wrong, to taste things that confuse me, to sleep." I smile into the breeze. "You also forgot how to drink coffee." "It was boiling, Ezra. It was warm. You blew on it dramatically like it was a potion of doom." "I don't trust steam," he mutters. "It's sneaky." I laugh. He glances sideways. And there it is. That look. Not hunger, not possession, just wonder. Like I'm still a puzzle he can't solve, and he's okay with never solving it. He leans closer. "Tell me something true." I raise an eyebrow. "Like what?" Something no one else knows, I think. Then, when I was 12, I used to sneak into the kitchen at night and pretend I was a world-class chef. I made toast, that was it. But I plated it like it was art. I used parsley. Thomas grins. Pretentious 12-year-old. I nudge him. Tell me something true. He hesitates. Then, sometimes, when I look at you, I forget I'm not immortal anymore. I blink. That's either very sweet, or very morbid. It's meant to be both. Inside, the music swells. Someone laughs so hard they drop a glass. It shatters. No one cares. Thomas stands and offers me a hand. Shall we make an entrance? I work here. You're still allowed to be dazzling. I roll my eyes but take his hand anyway. We descend the stairs as the lights dim to a golden glow. The dance floor parts just enough for us to pass. No one stares. No one whispers. They smile. Because somehow, Inferno feels like home now. A place where broken things don't shatter. Where monsters fall in love. Where even demons get to start over. We reach the bar. I lean against it. Thomas leans into me. So, I say, teasing, am I still just a flicker? He chuckles, actually chuckles, low and warm. No, he says. You're the fire I burned eternity for. And then he kisses me. Not like a demon. Not like a man. Like someone who finally chose to live. The lights fade. The crowd laughs. And on the glass door at the front of the club, as the final song plays, 2 handprints glow softly. One large, one small. Side by side.